Good day, students. This is Professor Inglet, and today we are going to cover Islam. Let me share my screen here. In the background, this is a picture of the Dome of the Rock in Israel, in Jerusalem. So we can start with the pre-Islamic culture. What was the Arabic area? What was it like before Muhammad? We're speaking specifically of the geographical region of today's Saudi Arabia. Many tribes lived on the brink of starvation. So we have a bunch of tribes, clans, tribal leaders, warlords, chiefs living in this area. And you survived in the desert with your community, with your tribe. The focus during the period of Islam, pre-Islam, is capitals set the tribes at war against each other. So there wasn't a consistent treaties between the various tribal members. Also, the land was considered animistic. They did not have an understanding of an afterlife as well. And they worshiped many deities within this region. In 610 CE, Muhammad received his first revelation in a cave near Mount Hira, and here's a picture of Mount Hira. And these revelations continued for 23 years. The impact of the revelation was so frightening that his whole body convulsed, almost like a seizure. He may have had seizures, to be honest. He also had a vision in Jerusalem that he was taken up to see God. This is his only miracle that he states. This vision is considered the only miracle besides the revelations in Muhammad's life. The angel Jibril, or you could say Gabriel, carried him on a winged creature called Barak up to the heavens. There are 7 layers or levels of heaven. He met the earlier prophets from the Judeo-Christian background and the Islamic background. And he also met God, was told by God that the Muslims should pray originally 50 times, but ultimately the Muslims would pray 5 times per day according to God's command. What did Muhammad find out during these revelations in the caves at Mount Hira and elsewhere? Number 1, it was wrong to build a private fortune of money, but good to share wealth and create a society where the weak and vulnerable were treated with respect. Next, human beings should behave with justice, with equity, and with compassion. Third, Muslims must lay aside their pride and selfishness and recall that before God, they were nothing. And Muslims must give a portion of their income to the poor. In the picture, we have a Muslim scribe. More revelations, social justice, and this focus on community. And this is why I have a picture of children in Bangladesh learning Arabic lessons in a circle. And they are all have their hands held out for that particular lesson. So social justice reasons, build a community, an ummah, U-M-M-A-H, build a community characterized by practical compassion and a fair distribution of wealth. So we're talking about money quite a bit in this particular religion, and feeding the poor, connecting to the poor, and making sure that nobody is impoverished. There's the notion that if the community thrived, it represents that the Muslims are living according to God's will. A single God could end the injustice and warfare between the various tribes as well. That's some of the revelations of Muhammad. We could also put those revelations in terms of the 5 pillars of Islam. The first pillar is Shahada. And this is the monotheistic, ethical monotheism of Judaism and Christianity as well. There is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. I always wondered why there's 2 phrases to this. There's no God but Allah, and then the second phrase is Muhammad is his messenger. And I thought, well, maybe Muhammad was trying to tell the others that he's simply a prophet, that he's not to be deified. So there is this sense that there is one God, Allah, which means God, the God in Arabic, and Muhammad is simply a messenger, no more. So I asked the question, how does this creed differ to the Christian creed at Council of Nicaea? It's quite different. So Jesus is considered a prophet within the Islamic tradition and not God incarnate. Next pillar is prayer, salat. And Muslims pray toward Mecca at least 5 times per day. And they're welcome to pray more than that if they like. So prayer is, and you can see this picture, is a lot more complex than just saying something. There's also the prostration. And prostrations are very much a part of the Muslim tradition, as well as the Hindu and Buddhist tradition too. You see some prostrations within Western Judaism and Christianity, but not that much, not like the Muslim prostration. Zakat is next, and that's charity to the poor. You're supposed to give away 2.5% at least of your fortune, of your yearly earning. Obviously, you could give more, you could give less, but charity to the poor is very much a part of the 5 pillars. Sawm, S-A-W-M, is fasting during Ramadan, and Hajj is the pilgrimage to Mecca. The greater pilgrimage is to take the pilgrimage during Ramadan. The lesser pilgrimage is to take Hajj during the rest of the calendar year. The Quran is obviously the sacred text of Islam, and it's recited throughout the world. It means to recite. Quran means to recite or recitation. It's considered to be of divine origin, revealed by the Prophet Muhammad through the angel Gabriel. Jibril gave Muhammad the revelations, and obviously God was a part of, or Allah was a part of that process too. It contains 114 surahs or chapters, and they're organized according to length, with the shorter surahs at the end. It's thought that the longer surahs were some of the newer surahs that Muhammad gave before his death. How do you convert an entire culture? Converting many people from poor clans, including women, is what Muhammad did. And Allah is considered the high God of the Arabic pantheon. So we have Allah's 99 names here. And you have many, many names in Christianity and Judaism as well. Jehovah, Yahweh, Elohim, and others in terms of what God is called in various religions. Muhammad thought he was not creating a new faith. Instead, he considered himself a prophet of the faith already existing in Arabic culture. And he was not creating a new faith that's different from Judaism and Christianity, he thought, until he started talking to people of Jewish and Christian background, and they disagree with a lot of his interpretation of scripture. Finally, his consolidation of the Arabic community ultimately reduced poverty and starvation, because it's a community, an ummah, that takes care of its people, all people who convert to Islam. In this photo, we have the Hajj taking place in Mecca. And Kaaba is in the center. That's a black meteorite or black stone that fell to the earth, and it's been housed inside uh, this brick square, if you will. So that's the Kaaba. In the beginning, it was thought to house at least 360 deities, which we could call idols. And Muhammad continued the pilgrimage to Mecca and reduced the 360 deities and idols to one God, Allah. In the early days, Muslims prayed toward Jerusalem instead of Mecca. And this act represented a symbol of monotheism of the great religions, Judaism and Christianity. But ultimately, at the end, before he passed away, Muhammad had them pray towards Mecca instead. Arabs had no concept of the afterlife, so Muhammad's vision of the Last Judgment seemed irrational to Arabic culture. So he talked about the revelations that he received, and people disagreed with him, as many prophets occur throughout history. Arabic cultures also feared the threat of the new religion and how it might change the capitalism of the thriving communities. There was an actual food ban on Muhammad's tribe for 2 years. And slaves converting to Islam were brutally killed or treated badly. It reminds me a little bit of the Anabaptists in the Christian religion, how they were treated. There is a city called Yathrib, which changed its name to Medina. Chiefs of Yathrib converted to Islam and made a pact that they would not fight each other and defend common enemies. Pagans and Jews also created a thriving community of protection with the Muslims. After Muhammad's wife died, Muhammad married numerous women to bind together a multitude of tribes. We have morning prayer here in Indonesia. Many of the wives were older women and widows. The Quran gave women rights of inheritance and divorce centuries before Western women were accorded such status. And the Quran makes men and women partners of God with identical duties and responsibilities. And if you look at this morning prayer in Indonesia, I mean, everybody looks the same. Everybody is the same in a sense to God. The views of Christians and Jews. Muhammad did not believe in converting Jews and Christians. The Quran states, there shall be no coercion in matters of faith. And for our God and your God is one and the same, and it is unto him that we all surrender ourselves. Muhammad instigated Friday afternoon prayers in a peaceful response to the Jews preparing for the Sabbath. So Friday prayers instead of Saturday prayers. The problem, though, the Jews refused to see Muhammad as a prophet of their religion. Also, the Quran verses many times did not align with what the Torah had said according to the Jews. So ultimately, Muhammad viewed Islam as a stricter monotheistic faith than Judaism and Christianity. A victorious chief was expected to exterminate the enemy within the tribal conditions, or the chief may be wiped out in the future. So there's a sense that war was established when defense is possible, when you have to defend your religion. 3 Jewish tribes in Medina, which is Yathrib, made a pact with Mecca to destroy Muhammad and his allies. Muhammad defeated them and made a treaty with one of the Jewish tribes. However, he exiled the tribe because he found out that they plotted to kill him. In the Battle of Trench, the Arabic Meccans and a Jewish tribe attacked Muhammad, and 700 men of the Jewish tribe were actually killed. Finally, Muhammad took 10,000 men, walked into Mecca, and took the city without any bloodshed. Tribal war had subsided. Muhammad consolidated the Arabian culture under Allah and Islam. So people converted to Islam. There's the term jihad, which is thrown around quite loosely sometimes. The Quran does not sanctify warfare. If Muslims live peacefully in a foreign land, Muslims could not attack that land. If Jews, Christians, and Zoroastrians lived in an Islamic kingdom, they were protected and allowed to practice their religion. So the definition of jihad is an internal effort to reform bad habits in the Islam community or within the individual Muslim. Other definition is to denote a war waged if the Islamic religion is under threat. Muhammad limited Islamic reasons for going to war. Only self-defense justifies a war. We have two major Islamic sects or denominations. The Sunni is the majority of the Islamic population, and they elected leaders called the caliphates. They elected leaders based on votes. The Shiite is the 10 to 15% of the adherents, and the Shiite believe in a more heretical, I'm sorry, not heretical, a genetic focus. Ali, the son of Muhammad, should be the successor. Ali was assassinated, and Ali's son Hassan was poisoned, and Ali's second son Hussein was killed and beheaded in Iraq. So we have a lot of warfare of the Sunnis, according to the Shiites, trying to kill the leaders of the Muhammad lineage. We have the Imam, that's the rightful leader of the Islamic community, and the majority of Shiites live in Iran and Iraq. So this question of leadership is a major conflict between the Sunnis and the Shiites even today. I do have a picture here of the Sunni and Shia Muslims praying together in Iraq. So we have a sense of solidarity between the Sunnis and Shias within this particular photograph. We have a third sect, if you will, called Sufi or Sufism. That's the belief in the mysticism or having a direct experience with God. One can experience God in this life and not merely after death. So they based their ideas off of Muhammad, who also had a connection to God and saw God and saw the prophets as well and communed with the prophets and God. So the Sufis believe that on this earth, you can do the exact same thing. You can have an experience with God that's mysterious and transcendental, but also real and imminent. They have the term fana, which means extinction, the loss of self. So when the loss of self occurs, then this idea of God is present. And here's a quote from Rumi: "Soul receives from soul that knowledge, therefore not by book nor from tongue. If knowledge of mysteries come after emptiness of mind, that is illumination of heart. If knowledge of mysteries come after emptiness of mind, that is illumination of heart." So that's the mystical experience, the loss of the self. When you lose the self, you have the knowledge of the mystery, which ultimately is that experience with the divine, with Allah. Here we have a couple of pictures of Islam. This is inside Al-Aqsa Mosque. Somebody's praying there, prostrating. Here we have a picture of Al-Masjid Al-Haram. And we have a picture of Al-Masjid Al-Nabawi. Notice the huge pillars that extend to the sky in both this and the other temple pictures. All right, that's a quick discussion of Islam. Continue reading in your book and elsewhere to really understand the religion in its entirety. Thanks for listening.